Lord, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for your feedback on the last video I did where we cooked matoke and beef stew, and the positive feedback is what has made me do another video for cooking. So I'll be doing this from time to time. I hope you had a good day. I hope the Lord has kept you safe, and I hope all is fine with you. You're doing well during this quarantine season. You're being positive and keeping safe. So today in my kitchen, this supper, we are preparing liver with ugali. So I'm going to show you how to prepare ugali and vegetables. So I'm having vegetables here. This is a mixture of different vegetables. This is Kenyan different vegetables. We have sukuma wiki, we have spinach, we have managu, all like I think 4 local vegetables mixed together. So we are going to prepare these vegetables, we are going to prepare with this liver, and we are going to prepare ugali. That is what we are taking for supper. So welcome to my kitchen. Here are my ingredients. So I have onions, I have tomatoes, I have what is this? This garlic, and I have chili. I also have royco, I have beef masala, and I have curry powder, and I have salt, and this is maize flour for ugali. So I think let's start with ugali. So if you have not prepared ugali before, or if you're having difficulty in preparing ugali, I'm going to show you how. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to light the fire. So most people prefer to just people cook ugali differently, but for me I always prefer to count the number of people and make sure I put a specific quantity of water. So for today I'm going to put 2 cups of water. So the first thing you put is water. Then I'd boiled the water already, but so the first thing I'm going to do is let it boil a bit, and then with this maize flour is what we are going to use in cooking ugali. So cooking ugali is very simple, but some people have difficulty in cooking ugali because of not putting exact amount of water that you need. And another thing is putting maize flour blindly. You don't put maize flour blindly. You have to put it a bit by bit until you feel like, you know, the texture of the ugali is fine with you. You don't just put any amount of maize flour and then you continue cooking. In that way you are sure in the middle of your cooking the ugali is going to be too hard and you're going to be forced to add more water in the process, and that kind of ugali is never okay. It doesn't come out well. So as you can see, the water is boiling up. So we are going to put cooking flour. We're going to put cooking flour. Then we wait for it to boil. So I use this in cooking my ugali, and I use this in holding my sufuria or cooking pot, whichever way you call it. So I'm going to wait for it to boil a bit, you see, so that they mix together, and when I start the process is easy. Okay, so this is the first thing. So you let it boil a bit before you start the cooking. So you're going to hold like this. I love holding like this because the sufuria gets hot. Okay, So I said, as I will be cooking, I can't leave the kitchen without giving you my reflection for today. So today my reflection, I was just reading the book of Psalms that says, if God is for us, who can be against us? And then I've seen many people who seem like God is not for them. So I was asking myself, is it all the time that God is for us? Is it all the time? Then then I realized it is true. The Bible can't lie. All the time God is for us. So you see, all the time people encourage themselves by saying, God is on my side, God is on my side. You see, I was just imagining God is not a tout so that he jumps from one car to the other. This side you're evil, God is jumping on your bus. You're living a righteous life, God is jumping on your bus. He can't be on your side, whichever life you choose. It is you to ask yourself, is God on you? Are you on God's side? You see? Because you remember Job always chose to be on God's side. So never ask yourself, is God for me? Ask yourself, are you on God's side? So that's my reflection for today. Are you on God's side? Ask yourself that. So you see, our water has boiled well and mixed together with the maize flour. So we are going to start preparing our ugali at this point. So this is how you do it. So you make sure you mix it well. So I think I was taught how to prepare ugali by my grandma. She does it so well, but I'm not perfect. Like, I can't prepare ugali for a huge number of people, but I can prepare for few people. The maximum I think I can prepare for is 6 people, but it also depends with how the 6 people, the amount of food they're eating also. Yeah, so you add just a bit. So you had my reflection for the day. Ask yourself, are you on God's side? Don't care which side, because God has a standard side. He's there for you. He's available, but for you, with the way you are running your lifestyle, you are living your lifestyle, are you on God's side? Yeah, so when you're preparing the ugali, make sure you mix well. So as you continue to mix like this, you will feel the texture. And you also make sure you've mixed together the flour well, so that you don't eat the maize flour inside the ugali. So different people love different texture for ugali. I love soft texture myself. If you love it hard, you can add more. So I see some people cook ugali in a way that they add maize flour and then they cover it and let it to cook on its own. I don't think that kind of ugali is eatable. Why? Because the heat doesn't get inside the ugali well. So you're touching base with every part so that it doesn't burn prematurely. So as you see, it's almost ready. If we zoom inside the cooking pan, you can see it's getting dry. You see that? It means ugali is getting ready and ready. So we are almost serving it. So imagine some people don't eat ugali because they feel like the process of cooking is tedious. It is not. It is very simple, and when cooked well, it's very sweet. So we are just about to serve. So at this point, it's very ready. It's very ready. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to prepare to serve it like this. Prepare it for service. Then I'll reduce the heat. See, I've reduced the heat. Then I will cover it a bit. So we wait before we serve our ugali. So our ugali is ready. You see, very ready. So you can shape it if you like. So for me, I love shaping it. If you don't like, you can just leave it that way. Our ugali is ready for eating. People who know ugali, you know that at this point, it's smelling really, really nice. Good, so we'll cover it and go to the next thing. Next, we are going to prepare liver. So we are going to prepare our liver. So this has been boiled. This is boiled liver already. So the first thing you do is put oil. Put oil. Put oil. And mix it. Mix. I always advise that when you are cooking, you make sure you concentrate on your food, because I'm a victim of not concentrating on my food most times and letting my food burn. So make sure you concentrate on your food. So for me, the way I cook liver is I let it dry up with this oil. So at this point, as I wait for it, as I stir it and wait for it to dry up, I put salt. So I put salt at this point, so that as it dries up, it's very, very sweet. I always do that because my grandma does not eat extra ingredients in meat and chicken. So for her, you just dry up the liver like this, and she eats it like that. So you make sure it is well cooked before you put other ingredients. So the liver is very sweet. It is smelling really nice, yummy, yummy. So guys, I told you about our reflection today, what I was reflected in the day. I reflected about during the day is not to get worried whether God is on your side. Your worry should be, are you on God's side? Because God is not like a tout to jump on your bandwagon when you are in wickedness and jump on your bandwagon when you are seeking righteousness. You rise and fall at your own time. So God doesn't work like that. So ask yourself at all times, are you on God's side? That should be your worry. So you see, the liver is drying really well. So the liver is really easy to cook. It's not difficult. It's something you can cook very fast if you have a visitor. So at this point it has dried up. So the first thing I'll put is onions mixed with this. Looks really yummy, so we'll just stir a bit until the onions are a bit brown, and then we can add our tomatoes. So the onions are well cooked at this point. So at this point we add our tomatoes. We add our tomatoes at this point. Add our tomatoes at this point. Also, you can add anything else that you want to add. For me, I will add Royco. I think even beef masala will do. I'll just add a bit. If you have mixed spices, the better for you. This Royco is this for chicken. It's very sweet. Yeah. So our liver is yummy. At this point, if you are here, you will not resist the urge to pick one. So liver is so simple to cook, and it also takes a short time to boil. So it's very yummy. Look at that. So, because we are going to take with ugali, you don't want to let it dry up. So at this point, we can add our garlic and garnish it and just end the cooking at this point. So for garlic, you put it the last minute because you don't want it to overcook. Most of the time there are people who don't even put it on the fire when the food is on the fire. They put it when the food is going to the table. So right now, when I give you this liver and the ugali, you will not want to wait for the vegetable. You don't need the vegetable. So our liver is ready. We are going to go into the vegetables. Stay tuned as we start cooking the vegetables. Okay guys, so we are going to prepare the vegetable. Here is the cooking pot, empty. We are going to pour some oil. Make sure you put enough oil. Okay, put enough oil. Then you let the oil cook until that noise goes away, and then we can put our onions. So you want to make sure the oil is ready for the onion. So wait a bit, wait for that noise to go, wait for it. It is good. So we put our onions and you will hear the magic. Hear that magic? See that magic? So at this point, I love putting the salt at this point so that the salt is cooked well. So I've had people say how bad salt is and how salt can cause water retention in the body. So I prefer salt being well cooked than being eaten raw. So we are going to use onions, and we're going to use pepper for our vegetables. So look at those onions. At this point, if you have your hot dog, you'll just eat the onions like this. Make sure the onions are well cooked before you put in the tomatoes. Nice. So our onions are ready, so we put in the tomatoes. Put the tomatoes. You can add I love using curry powder. For my vegetables. I love curry powder instead of Royco. That is just my preference. You can use Royco if you like. So you stir and make sure the tomatoes are soft enough before you start going in with the vegetables, so that once all these ingredients is ready, you don't have to cook the vegetables too much, because we want them green. We want them to go to the table green with all the ingredients in place. I meant to say with all the so you see the tomatoes are getting softer. You make sure the tomatoes are soft. Some people also prefer using a blender to make sure the tomatoes are soft, but I don't prefer that for vegetables because it's going to give you a soup in your vegetables, and you don't want a soup for your vegetables. So at this point, the tomatoes are soft, so you start going in with your vegetables bit by bit. Don't put the vegetables once and for all. If you put the whole of it, it's not going to get the oil well. So you go in with a bit of vegetables. Mix. Once that is mixed well, add again if you do like this, by the time you are done, you just remove the vegetable. You don't have to overcook it, because if you put the whole of it, the process of mixing it will be tedious, and by the time you are done, the vegetable is overcooked. See, and again. If you've been wondering why your vegetables come out brown or overcooked, then now today you know the reason. The reason is because you put your vegetables all at once. Mix it bit by bit, and you'll make sure it's not overcooked. So once you put the whole of it, you just wait for it a bit. So this is the last part of it. So our cooking seemed to be coming to an end. If a visitor had come, then at this point they are happy because their food is almost ready. So you see, the vegetable is green, nothing is overcooked, and the oil is inside the vegetable, inside. The vegetable looks so yummy. It looks so yummy. We need to zoom inside the pot and see how yummy the vegetable is. So yummy and green, so green. We are going to serve. So thank you for coming to my kitchen. You see I'm sweating. The cooking, if you cook one thing and onto the next, it's not easy, but that is the life in the kitchen. So the Lord bless you so much. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for your support, and thank you for being part of my family. And I hope you've learned a thing or two. I'm not an expert, but I am a good cook. I think I'm a good cook. So I hope you don't forget the reflection that I've told you today, that make sure at all times that you choose to be on God's side. Choose to be on God's side with the way you speak. Choose to be on God's side with the way you treat people. Choose to be on God's side with the way you think. Even your thoughts, even your intentions are judged by God. So make sure your intentions are pleasing God. They show that you are on God's side. Alright? So the Lord bless you, and make sure you stay on God's side. Goodbye.